Okay, so just to review for some of you who are a little bit stuck in what you're supposed to be doing. So here's an example. I don't think this is on your homework. Let's say this is the quadratic that you have to deal with. Actually, here I'm going to go back. Here we go. Here's the first quadratic. 2x squared minus 3x minus 2 is equal to 0. So you have your A, your B, your C. First thing I want you to do is find the discriminant. So b squared minus 4ac, we plug all that in, we get 25. Negative 3 squared, subtract 4 times 2, which is the a value, negative 2 times the c value. Subtract a negative is like adding a positive, so 9 plus 16. Remember, negative 3 squared, negative times negative is a positive. Because this answer right here is positive, and remember, this answer is what's going to go underneath the radical sign right there. So you don't have to do this part again. We know it's going to have two roots, and remember, the roots are going to go, whoops, that's kind of an ugly, there and there. All right, the next thing you're going to do is find the vertex. Remember, the vertex goes right here. The vertex is the opposite of b over 2a. So the opposite of negative 3 is 3. 2 times a, which is 2, is 4. So that's what goes here. That's 3/4. And then we plug that 3/4 back into this original quadratic. So right down here. 2 times 3/4 squared minus 3 times 3/4. Subtract 2. And when you simplify all of that, you get negative 25 over 8. That's your vertex. All right, and then we plug the a, the b, the c into the quadratic, which is the opposite of b, so that's going to be positive 3, plus or minus. Well, you've already done the b squared minus 4ac. It was positive 25, so we can put that right there, all over 2 times a, which is 4. Well, now the square root of 25 is 5, so we've got two x values. We've got 3 plus the square root of 25 is 5. 3 plus 5 over 4. 3 plus 5 is 8. 8 divided by 4 is 2. 3 subtract 5 is negative 2. Negative 2 over 4 simplifies to negative 1/2. So now, negative 1/2, and remember the roots, the y values are zeros, so the two roots are negative 1/2 and 2. And they go on either side of the vertex. And then you just pick two additional values. All right, let's try a different example. This time, here's the quadratic. When you find the discriminant, it's equal to 0. That means there's going to be one root. That one root ends up being the vertex. So go ahead and find the vertex. Remember, the vertex is the opposite of b over 2 times a. Well, the opposite of negative 6 is positive 6. Divided by 2 times a, well, this a is that invisible 1. So 6 divided by 2 is 3. So that will be our x value. And when you plug 3 in, here we did it here, when you plug 3 into that original quadratic up here, 3 squared is 9, subtract 6 times 3, 9 subtract 18 is negative 9, negative 9 plus 9 is 0. All right, so here we have our vertex. So when we go to do the quadratic, we know that this goes underneath the radical sign. There's only going to be one root, so it's the opposite. Remember the quadratic, the opposite of b, plus or minus, and then the discriminant, b squared minus 4ac, but this time we know it was 0, over 2 times a, and a was 1. So the opposite of 6 is positive 6. 6 divided by 2 is 3, and we already figured that out. So there you have it, and then you just pick two additional values. I went up 1 to 4, and up 1 again to 5, and then I went down 1 to 2, down 1. And I went ahead and plugged in the 4 and the 5. When you plug 4 into this original equation, 1 is your answer. And when you plug 5 into this original equation, 4 is your answer. Well, remember, it's symmetrical. So the final example that we have is, here's the quadratic, x squared minus x, and remember those invisible ones right there, plus 5. So when we do the discriminant, the opposite of negative 1, or I'm sorry, b squared, which is 1, minus 4 times 1 is 4 times 5 is 20. 1 subtract 20 is negative 19. That means there's going to be two imaginary roots that are going to go right here and right here. We just have to find the vertex. Remember, the vertex is the opposite of b over 2 times a. So the opposite of negative 1 is 1. 2 times 1 is 2. So 1/2 is the x value. Then when you plug 1/2 into the original quadratic, you end up with positive 19/4. And then remember, our roots go right here, but I'm not going to have you worry about this part. Remember when I said in class that when it was a negative root, all you had to do is when you solve the quadratic, which is right down here, the opposite of negative 1 is 1, plus or minus, remember negative 19 goes right there. And the only thing that can change from this is we can pull that, remember the square root, we can rewrite this as the square root of negative 1 times positive 19, and the square root of negative 1 is I. So x is equal to 1 subtract I root 19 over 2, and x is equal to 1 plus I root 19 over 2. And we're not going to figure out the y values. You don't have to do anything else. I hope this helps Kylie and others and anybody else.